Hello, and you are very welcome to Killer Queen Conversations, the Queen fan podcast from Shane's Queen site. On this podcast, we will be interviewing Queen fans, asking them about their favourite songs, favourite albums, how Queen became part of their life, and indeed how the music of Queen has formed the soundtrack to their lives. So, without further ado, let's see who we have today.
Killer Queen Conversation.
So today we're in Tunbridge in the UK and welcome Philip Copping from Supersonic Queen.
Hi, how you doing?
How you doing? How are you doing? Thank you
I'm
very
very good, thank you. No, it's a pleasure to be here, thank you.
You're very welcome. And of course, you are lead singer of Supersonic Queen.
Yes, for
one
my
of
sins.
almost UK tribute bands.
Cool.
Queen tribute bands, of course. And today you're looking extremely Freddie-esque, which is fantastic. Your first Freddie.
Oh, is it really?
Well, we're only 4 episodes in, so come on.
I'm honoured. I'm so honoured. Thank you.
Yeah. So, so tell us about the band. Tell us about when you get set up and how you actually set up.
Well, I guess starting point really is how I ended up sort of doing this with the fellas. I was doing a solo Freddie act.
Yeah.
Which bizarrely, and this is the whole journey that I've been on to get to where I am now, is all kind of chance and happenstance and everything. And I was doing songs and just playing in duos and pubs and things like that for years as a kind of a supplementary income.
Yeah.
And during my 40s, I kind of completely fell out of love with performing.
Okay.
I just had a kind of a crisis of confidence, and I think it's that thing of the older you get, the less time you've got for other people's bullshit.
Yeah.
And going to pubs where people are like, play Oasis and play this and play. It just wasn't me, and I found it really quite intimidating after a while. So I ended up kind of like trying to back out of doing music. And I remember I had a gig local to me just up the road, in a pub called the Summerhill, and I did this gig, and I was like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to do it. And I used to, you'll appreciate this, I used to put a monitor down on the floor in front of me. It wasn't even plugged in, it was just there to create a barrier between me and the audience.
Sure, yeah.
And I had a music stand, which I didn't need, but I think subconsciously I was trying to stop myself from having to communicate with the audience, which is bizarre. But I was in that headspace, and I did the gig, and my wife had a chat with the landlord, and the landlord said, he does a few Queen songs, and he does them really well. Can he do a whole night of Queen?
Wow.
And without consulting me, she said, of course he will. Yeah. So and when she told me afterwards, I was like, you said what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. I'm blah, blah, blah. And, but, I had this, I had to do it because the wife said so. So I worked on what I knew.
Yeah.
And I've been a fan since I was 10 years old. So I worked on Wembley 86 and based it around that, and actually tried to recreate the entire concert, including all the audience noise and everything. So it was to try and make a big show, but in a very small space. So I kind of enjoyed the process of getting back into it. And of course, when I started doing it, the first show that I did was at the solo act was at the Summerhill.
Wow.
And bizarrely, all that fear that I had and all that stuff that I built up with me finding audience interaction uncomfortable suddenly went away, because it wasn't me. It was Fred. You put on that mask.
When you go on stage, you put on this feeling. Like I would have been the same. Like people would not have seen me as being somebody who would have been on stage. But
sure, of course.
When you go on, you don't have that. You're not being me. You're
not Shane.
Exactly. No, you're somebody else, and it's really strange. The very first gig I did was in Utah in 2022 with the guys in the States.
Yeah.
And I remember going on and I played the whole set, and we were about 6 songs before the end, and then I realized, oh, there's an audience there. You know, and just because I was in myself, I was in flow, I was playing the songs, I was having a great time, and the funny thing was we were playing an area a venue which normally only did opera and ballet. So as soon as a rock band came along and the first chord was "Now I'm Here," we could hear all the turbos in all the monitors just going. We had no monitors, and we did a whole show on bass and drums because there was an acoustic bass there, full set of bins and so on there on the corner.
Yeah.
So we did the whole thing with bass and drums eyeing each other. We had a bit of house sound coming through. We could hear a bit of bleed coming through, which was okay. Sure. We didn't miss a beat. The show was fantastic. Amazing. And but as I said to you, like as you kindly quoted there, when you go on, you don't feel like you're yourself. You're somebody else. Yeah.
You're channeling a different thing.
You are. Yeah. But I think maybe your comfort in doing that in front of the audience, that like a few times beforehand we're shouting at you, suddenly you're appreciating you, because I think you're performing the music that you're comfortable doing and the music you love.
It's what you love. Absolutely right. Yeah. I think all those things create a really palpable kind of safety net for performers. If you're in your element and you're working with your music, the music you love.
So tell me about when you were growing up. Like, I mean, when you're in your youth, what was playing around your house? Like, what was your mom and dad playing? What was go-to?
I had an interesting kind of musical background, really, Shane, because I grew up in the kind of mid-70s. I was born in 73, so the music of that I remember on the radio was always on, and there was such a rich mix of music especially in the late 70s. You had everything still from sort of glam and sort of 70s pop to reggae and punk and disco, and it was a real melting pot of different things. So the radio was much more, I think, diverse than it probably is now when you listen to commercial radio. We listened to it was just good music. You know what I'm talking about. The 70s was full of really good music, and so this was always on. It was like a soundtrack to my life.
You had some good people to listen to and to appreciate, and to get everything from a bit of this from here and a bit of that from there, and kind of put it into yourself and create your own love.
You find what resonates with yourself, kind of thing. And my dad listened to, I think he had a cassette of Bread in the car, which were, again, cool little songs and everything. But my whole family were involved in amateur theatre. So I kind of grew up alongside the music of the 70s. I grew up with Rodgers and Hammerstein and Leonard Bernstein and Lerner and Lowe and all these kind of great musical composers. And
I suppose that resonates as well, because Freddie was a love of vaudeville and that sort of
this is it, as
well. And when you listen to Queen, you realise that they're not playing a G and then a C and then an A minor. They're playing G G diminished and then moving on to an E. So like they're using the Lerner and Lowe style of writing proper music.
Absolutely right.
That's contemporary,
and that the music for that was to tell a story. And I think that was so. There's I always say there's three threads to what influenced my music background. You've got the music of the 70s. You've got the musical theatre. And then, which I loved. I really, Bernstein in particular, really just, there's something about his music that really kind of makes my spine tingle.
Right.
So you've got all of that stuff. And then when I was a little bit older, my parents packed me off to public school, and I got a scholarship in the choir. Because I could always sing. I've always had a good ear and everything. And so I joined Rochester Cathedral Choir, and then had to learn about harmony and that density of sound that's created when loads of voices are working together. So between those three things, my kind of background in music was perfect to understand Queen.
Of course,
Queen made
Harmony.
complete sense.
Yeah. Good songwriting, harmony, storytelling.
Yeah, theatricality.
Oh
in terms
God,
of performance.
Now, you said you're singing since you were young, but at what point did you realize there was singing and then there was Freddie singing? But Freddie just doesn't sing; he kind of brings it to another level. So,
well,
Freddie song. If anyone has ever tried to do Freddie as karaoke, you realize there's a point at which you get you kind of go, okay, I can't do this, and I'm in trouble.
Yeah, it's that level of comfortability of like, oh, I can sing, and then it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Should have that thing on or something. Yeah,
this is it. Yeah. Well, I was singing. So I was singing from probably about the age of 7, and I think my first show was I did amateur theatre at the age of 7 onwards, really. So I had a pleasant voice, but I think what happened, there was a turning point for me, and I was aware of Queen's music, but not in only because I knew the songs. And I think, again, growing up in the 70s, Bicycle Race was something that you sung in the playground.
Yeah.
And Another One Bites the Dust was something that, there were songs that were just sort of, they just existed in this kind of...
They were out there.
They were out there, and we were all aware of them and everything. But it was Flash Gordon. That was my jumping on point.
Right.
And as a child of the 70s, you were brought up with... In the playground, you were trading cards with your schoolmates for Star Wars and Star Trek and Superman and
which again, Star Wars was mentioned in Bicycle Race.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is really quite ironic, but but I love it. Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff was the stuff that we were talking about in playgrounds, and then Flash Gordon was released. And I'll tell you what, I bought the other day. I've got to show you this.
Okay.
Don't know whether you remember these. They were the the Weetabix Flash Gordon.
Yes. Wow.
And I remember getting my Weetabix and obviously looking at the images and going, "Wow, that looks cool." And we knew it was a new film.
Yeah.
And then when I heard the soundtrack, I was like, oh, "Wow!" It wasn't like the John Williams score.
Yes.
The big.
Yes.
It was a sci-fi film, but with rock. It was like, this is fucking unreal. So and I was completely hooked. My mum and dad bought me the cassette for I think it was for Christmas, and literally I listened to that inside out and back to front, and that was where I started to understand what that voice was about, that kind of power, and also the range from that sort of delicate. Falsetto in some of those instrumental bits to the hero at the end, kind of,
and also the dynamics. I feel Flash Gordon has a lot of dynamics, because when you listen to Flash's theme, you've got the urgency of Flash, and then you got the section where he mellows down in Just a Man, and mellow, and the same song, and Freddie does that quite a lot in songs. Even Bohemian
There's a lot of dynamic range, isn't there? Yeah,
it is. But like Bohemian Rhapsody, the piano section is very breathy and very light, and then suddenly you have the operatic section, which is really high, and then the rock section is very throaty. So to sing a Freddie song, you need to have that dynamic range.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is. Yeah.
So Flash was the jumping point for me, and then it was a little later on, sort of in the 80s. And I saw the video for It's a Hard Life.
Yes.
And just loved how over the top it was and how dramatic. And then I was like, oh, hang on. It's the same band that did Flash.
Yes.
And then I started to understand. And then it was, for me, that was where all the pieces started to come together. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, they did Bicycle Race, and they did, oh, my word. This is, and that was me hooked then. I was done.
Yeah.
Then they released Kind of Magic, and I had that on cassette, and literally... It's probably the album I've listened to the most, because I grew up probably 3 years of constantly listening to it.
That's interesting. It's around that era, because you would have been 13, 14 around that time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and that's the era that everyone says that the music that's been played around your 13, 14 kind of age bracket, that's the music that will resonate with you most as you are.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah, it's for me, it's the exact same thing. Like, I wasn't really interested in music until I heard Def Leppard's Animal.
Oh yes, what great,
And as soon as that came on, I went, wow, what's this? Like, and from that point on, Van Halen came into my life.
Yeah.
All of the bands that I would still listen to. It was around that time I started listening to music, because previously, music was on. I remember finding the Moody Blues.
Oh yeah,
Nights in White Satin. I found it on cassette one time, and that blew my brain away. I said, I think it was 5 or 6 when I heard that. Careless Whisper. Again, all these songs will have an impact on you, but it was only when I heard the rock music around my 13, 14 birthday that I kind of realized rock music is kind of...
It's a love affair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Develop that kind of... Yeah.
But like yourself, I didn't really have a knowledge of Queen as Queen until later on.
Yeah.
So obviously I saw Radio Gaga, and I remember Want to Break Free, and I remember A Kind of Magic, but I didn't, like yourself, put the dots together and have a link until later on.
Yeah, that's right. And that was an interesting time musically for me as well, because my voice had just broken.
Okay.
And at the point when your voice breaks, you can no longer be in the choir. So I'd done 3 years as a high descant kind of, being able to probably sing the Freddie parts fairly easily, but without any power, and then all of a sudden I became a baritone overnight, and so I was trying to come to terms with
what you lost,
what my voice was, of like, what is this new thing I'm faced with?
But also what you gained as well, I mean, when the voice breaks, you get the extra power, you get different
it was
your voice.
Really interesting time musically, and then Kind of Magic, and then I just went back. I was like, right, I need to understand what this is about, so I bought Queen, the first album, Queen 2, and Sheer Heart Attack in quick succession, and listened to that again. The same thing. I listened obsessively, and then I spent the rest of my teenage years filling in the gaps, really, and that's how I kind of got the Queen thing. And I was known at school, and it's really interesting when I meet my school friends now, knowing what I do. Yeah. And it's like, you were the kid at school, you were the one kid who was like Queen obsessed.
Okay, and very good.
And, I didn't have a nickname, but it was like, oh, he's the kid who likes Queen.
Yeah. And it's funny how that happens, because have you heard the podcast Queen Pod?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
they mentioned on that quite a lot that they would bring the cassette to school and they'd be listening, and it would be like, nobody else knows, but I'm listening to Queen. It's that sort of thing, and people would associate you with listening to Queen. I think because I'm not sure if Queen were appreciated as much as we find now.
Certainly not then in the 80s, I think. Yeah, no. I think it was. I think. I mean, I even experienced some Mickey taking because I like Queen, which wasn't an issue actually. If anything, it kind of made me double down in. Yeah, it's like, I know, and you're missing out. It's
exactly.
Like,
go back to listening to Bros.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Who's got the best deal?
Exactly.
Here,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So
obviously, then you took all of your knowledge of Queen, you built your catalog, and you obviously you've mastered the singing at this stage. You're playing pubs, and now you're doing your set, your own Freddie set in front of everyone. At what point do you taking your solo gig and then finding people? Did you find people, or was it a case it just happened?
It again, all complete circumstance. That first solo gig that I did, they booked it for something like 9 months in advance, because they said, "Oh, how long would you need to put something together?" Yeah. And again, me trying to get out the back door and going, "Oh, I don't really want to do it." I said, "Oh, give us 9 months," thinking that they'd say, "I don't bother."
Or forget about it.
Like, that's fine. So I spent all this time, reconnecting with the music and putting tracks together and all this nonsense. And unbeknownst to me, the gig the date that we booked the gig was the weekend they released the film Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wow.
So I started doing Queen as an act
Yeah.
at the best possible time to do.
When the popularity is going through the roof.
Yeah. So I spent 18 months doing it as a solo act and building what I was doing, and then we got stuck in lockdown.
Yes.
And in lockdown, it was another band, another Queen band, had parted ways with their singer. I think because of lockdown, the uncertainty of entertainments and everything. He said he wanted to get a normal job or something or other.
Okay.
And they were scouring the internet for a replacement, and saw some of the stuff that I'd had from my solo act and said, "Oh, do you want to meet up and maybe,
Yeah.
And so we the first time I met them was at a rehearsal room in Milton Keynes, and we ran the set.
Yeah.
Literally the first time I met the four guys, and the first song we did together was One Vision, and the sound they made was just so good.
Give you thrills.
And it was just like, complete. It was a tiny room. We were all facing each other, and literally I'm like, this is it. This is me. That's
excellent.
And at that point, and I'm a bit of an unusual musician, and a bit like Freddie in that I don't drive. I've never driven.
Okay.
So for me, a lot of the challenges were going to be logistical challenges.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you want to tour, how do we make that work with? And the guy said, look, we want to work with you. We really enjoyed it. Whatever happens, we'll just make it work.
Yeah. Also,
I've just touched something by mistake there and lost your face.
No, it's okay. I'm still here.
There you are. So they said, whatever happens, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, my wife said, look, if you're going to do it, don't do it by halves. Don't try and do it as a supplementary thing. If this is the opportunity at the age I'm at to kind of really find what it is I was meant to do. And literally, we've been doing it now as a unit for 5 years. And it's full time. We don't do anything else. And that's to get to that point and to have that support where I can do that.
Yes,
is unreal. And it sounds really glib, Shane, but I'm literally living my best life. Literally my best life.
I'm actually delighted because it's one of those things. If you find a job that you love doing, then you'll never work a day in your life. That's the old
absolutely
adage.
Right. Yeah.
So, for those people who don't know, do you want to just introduce the band briefly? Who's on drums, keyboards, that sort of thing?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So our Brian May is a guy called Kev Parry, who's done loads of things over the years in different Queen bands as well. But he's amazing, absolutely amazing guy. Really,
I think you have to be amazing to do Brian May, because you can't just do. It's not simply guitar.
You can't blag it.
No, you can't. No, yeah.
But he's, in his words, Queen are his Bible.
You do have to live the Queen life to appreciate and play Queen. I believe.
Absolutely.
It's not a case of learning the songs.
No.
To be appreciative of what it is you're playing.
It's that frustration for me when I see the assumption that to do Freddie you just need to put on a yellow jacket and a moustache. Blows my mind. And the same with I've got a Brian May
special
Brian May guitar, and a Vox. It's all about your connection with it, and he's got a great connection with that. He's just superb. So and then we've got our John Deacon is a guy called Chris Headley, and he's been with us. He's the newest addition. He's been with us for about a year and a half now.
It's kind of like the actual John. He joined last.
Sorry? He's
kind of like the actual John. He joined last.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And actually made some of the biggest impact. He's our John is there's I don't know whether you notice this. There's elements of life imitating art. In everything that you do in a Queen band, because I think personality types are kind of almost mirrored with the people that you're representing or interpreting or whatever. And I do find that our John is a lovely, quiet soul, but really fastidious and really, just understands the work ethic of it, and I think all of us share attributes with the people that we
Of
are
course.
representing. I think
Yeah.
our Roger Taylor, this guy called James Breen, and he kind of co-runs the band with me,
Yeah.
and he's got that belligerence, that kind of I don't give a shit
Yeah.
attitude, but it's not something that's put on. He just doesn't care, and I love that. And it makes it so much easier when you're on stage to look around at the people that you're sharing that stage with, and you can feel it. You can feel
Yeah.
the energy between.
There's a link. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it, but there is a link when you have a good band. And
Do you find that as well?
It is amazing just to look back and be knowing that you've got that connection, that you trust everybody you're with.
Yeah.
Like our band is. I think anybody who is a good band will appreciate the band. Like our bassist is Daryl Craig Harris, amazing musician, and he has a fantastic podcast as well called Music Matters. Definitely worth checking out.
Oh, cool! Yeah, we'll do.
Drummer is James Sloan, and again, he has that rhythm and that like attention to detail to the point of creating his, he'll do his tempos almost to the exact tempo of the song. He'd be very, very detailed at that level. He's amazing. I mean, our singer, JJ Midnight, fantastic singer. And then our guitarist is Steve Rochelle. He's from Leicester in the UK. So, I mean,
really?
there's a link there. And, and I just feel like yourself, you have that link on stage, look around, you can trust that they have your back and you've got their no. So that's, and you have a Spike, do you?
Yes, yeah, we've got our Spike is Rob Norman. And he's again a lifelong Queen fan, and he creates he does everything. He does the keys, a lot of the arrangements. He plays second guitar for bolstering that sound a little bit. Yeah, and I'm
hoping to do that myself, but just the way things work for ourselves, But
it's hard, man. He's constantly like he's got two keyboards and the guitar and. His mic and his vocoder, and so he's probably he has to be the most wear the most hats in the band, I think. And they're my best friends. They really are. I love them. I really do.
Brilliant.
And we've managed to get this Supersonic Queen to a point where, as I say, it's literally everything we do. So I spend my week doing outreach with other Queen fans from around the world, which is not a job, it's a pleasure.
You've got a great group there on Facebook, your Supersonic Queen.
We have friends of Supersonic Queen. That's a big shout out to you guys. It's just trying to. I understand that Queen is a community thing.
It is
because it means so much to so many people for different reasons, and it's very much about creating that for us. We want to create a community for people. A safe space where it's a positive, friendly, loving experience. We share the love of the music. Let's support each other and everything, and it's been lovely. We have people follow us all over the UK, and mad, crazy people. But they
have some amazing dates. I saw your set list of upcoming dates, and you've got quite a considerable set of tour dates coming up. So do you book them yourselves, or do you get bookings from other companies? Or
we it's a bit of everything, really. We only work with people that we like, and over the years we've dropped a few that we
make it difficult.
A death on two legs kind of thing, where you get some dodgy promoters and everything. And we work with a couple of different agents who specialise in different things. And we do a lot ourselves as well because we've got the time to do it.
Excellent. So yes, of course.
So I think last year was 100 shows we finished on for the year. And this year we're going to try and take it a little bit easier and maybe aim for about 85. Only because the amount of travel is just absolutely brutal.
We did we holidayed in Scotland there a while back, and then went for our last week. Let's go to Somerset, and we went. let's get in the car and drive. And then we realized this is not easy. We
It's
were
not.
in the car for like 9 hours going in the middle of the UK,
My
so
word.
it's a big country. So like
It
we're
is, isn't it?
here in Ireland, we have, I'd say if you went for 3 hours in one direction, you probably end up on the other side of the island. So
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
that big, So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it?
yeah,
I think you know, people don't appreciate it unless you do what we do,
yeah.
The,
I mean, there's a lot more to it. I mean, as you know yourself, and for people who don't know, it's not just a case of showing up. You're showing up and you're doing a sound check and a setup, and you're doing a few other things. And then when the show is over, you got to take it all back down again, and then drive home.
yeah,
So it's it's
down's the
it's
worst
not
bit.
it's not an easy day. There's a
No,
lot
no.
for you to do, and you've got to have the performance, and you've got to have the quality of getting out there and being
Being
happy and
fresh.
positive, and you could be dying with a headache, but you still got to do it because they paid the money to be there. So, it is.
You're a slave to it, aren't you?
But there's a love there as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. It doesn't matter. Again, because I don't drive, I have this really unique situation where all of our band is spread across the country. So I'm down in Kent, our bass player's in London, keys and drums are in Birmingham, and our guitarist is in Liverpool.
Wow.
So we
Quite a
kind of,
spread.
yeah, literally spread diagonally across the country, and we just convene on one spot, and then it's hotels and travelling and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But so for me to get to a venue, say last weekend we were in Rugeley, which is Staffordshire way, so up past Birmingham. So I'd leave the house really early in the morning, get the train to London, get the tube across London to meet the bass player, drive up with the bass player from London to Rugeley,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the weekend, the opposite is true, and sometimes he ends up dropping me off somewhere around the M25 for my wife to come and get me at like 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning or something or other. Or sometimes because of the amount of travel, I've returned back to London at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then there's this really good restaurant called the Duck and Waffle, which is a 24-hour restaurant in the middle of London, on like the 44th floor of a skyscraper, and sometimes I'll go there and have a coffee and stuff,
okay.
and just watch London unfold and
That's
wake up
beautiful,
and everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, you're waiting for 3 hours for your first train to get you back to home, sort of thing. So it's
Excellent.
but again, like you say, because you love it,
Yeah.
none of that matters.
That's right. Yeah. So obviously, a
genuinely.
shout out to your excellent and supportive wife and
She's the best,
likewise, I have the
honestly.
same. So it's you do have to shout out people who are supporting you on your dream.
Yeah, it's I always say to her, it's your own bloody fault, because if you hadn't started me on that path in the first place, I wouldn't be doing it. So
Well, yeah, exactly.
you've only got yourself to blame.
He likes Queen, getting to sing Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
But,
when you're not performing, is it all Queen you listen to, or would you?
I generally I have 2 days to call it a palate cleanser. So at the end of the weekend, Sunday I'll listen to something, other things completely, and sometimes Monday I'll indulge the things that I want to listen to, and then it's back, because we're constantly working on material. We've got a few projects that I can't talk about at the moment that will become clear in the fullness of time that we're doing a lot of deep cuts for.
Good.
So so at the moment we're working on things like Death on Two Legs, Flick of the Wrist, Fairy Fella's Masterstroke, which we're going to do live.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And some other really cool stuff. So there's a lot of listening and a lot of soaking things up and trying to understand how songs were constructed in the studio, but then also how that was translated live.
Yeah.
And where we can fit in the middle of that. We're very lucky. We've got, other than my voice, we've got 3 backing vocals. So live, it means we can get a fairly good density of those kind of harmonies and everything.
Yeah.
So But yeah, the rest of the time I listened to. Well, again, you were saying about Def Leppard and stuff like that. That was kind of that kind of thing was my bag as well. You know,
Yeah.
Def Leppard, Extreme.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Similar.
Steve Vai, I'm a massive Steve Vai fan.
Similar. Yeah.
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 And things that I appreciate. I like complex music, so things like Divine Comedy, and yeah, just weird and wonderful. I like the eccentric shit. You know, that's my bag.
There's an excellent interview Steve Vai did with a guy called Devin Townsend in.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's on YouTube. It's worth checking out. Steve Vai just gives some of the best commentary on interviews. He's a very interesting guy to listen to.
Very much so, yeah. I saw him with Devin Townsend in 1993. It's one of the first live shows that I went to see.
Sex and Religion tour.
Sex and Religion, yeah. I was at Hammersmith Apollo or something rather, and and he was the same age as me. Devin Townsend was 18 at the time.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, you lucky so-and-so, you know, you're kind of...
And that was a thing that happened to me when I was growing up. When I had eventually found Queen, I found Queen around 93. My cousin gave me a tape and said, I think you'll like this one. Queen 2. It was Queen 2.
Wow, cool.
First 4 tracks. Raymond, what's going on here?
Blew your mind.
After that, then you're hooked. It's a gateway drug. So if anyone out there listening to Queen 2, I'm sorry, you are now hooked.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
From that point on, I went backwards. I got Queen 1 and then started building the catalogue from there.
Yeah, sure.
But I remember meeting a friend of mine around 99, maybe 2000, and he had a friend of his he was working with in Dublin who was in a Queen tribute band in Dublin called the Great Pretenders. And my thought process was, how do you get into that band? How do you get in behind the scene and play? Because all I wanted to do was play. And it didn't happen for another 21 years after that. But
oh, wow.
Yeah.
But you had that desire from that.
The desire was always there because I knew playing that music was something that I wanted to do. But it was funny because even when I tried to learn Elton John or ABBA, those songs never went in and stayed in. They'd stay in for a day or 2 or 3, but it never stayed in forever. As regards like keeping it in. And I think what's interesting as well is Queen have a backstory. You know, they all have a very, very interesting backstory, which I love as well, because you know, Freddie the designer and Roger the dentist and John the electrician and Brian the astronomer, and all of those stories are very interesting in their own right. When you combine that with great music and nice people, you know, it's really interesting who they are as a band.
Yeah, and I think that this is part of the, you know, we've obviously, all of us have looked a lot at Bohemian Rhapsody, the song, because of the anniversary and everything. And I did an interview with a Dutch journalist about Bo Rap, and I said, I think the thing with Queen in general is that because all four of them wrote hits, all 4 of them were well educated, and each of them brought a completely different musical influence to the melting pot. And I think when that is all kind of rammed together, and you know, we all know they fought like cat and dog in the studio to get ideas through and to get, you know, to get their point. And I think that tenacity was key, because what it did is it made a complete fusion of different styles. So to an audience, and I can only imagine, and I've spoken to some of the people who saw, you know, some of the royal family, the guys who were there in the early 70s going to see Queen for the first time, and it kind of made heavy rock appeal to people who like pop, and it made that kind of vaudeville theatricality available to people who like hard rock, and it made funk available to people who like prog, and it's the perfect melting pot of different styles. And I think that's where that kind of endearing thing musically comes from, is that, you know, you can hear so much in one Queen song, and it just crosses boundaries. It doesn't. It's never pigeonholed. It's a rock thing, because it's as much prog and it's as much pop and it's as much. You know, so and that's, I think, part of that popularity. I think is it doesn't sit in a space
Yeah.
in time either. It's just, yeah, man.
Varied.
We're
Yeah.
so blessed.
Look at Day at the Races, for example. You start off with hard rock, Tie Your Mother Down, and then moving into You Take My Breath Away.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and after that, then on track 4, then you have Millionaire's Waltz, which is like a it's like 3/4 time. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
going on, you know.
And then that instrumental section where it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, you know.
Oh yeah, and John is doing some amazing work on that song, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't credit that song as being, that's a deep cut I'd love to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, it's come up in
I think you're right.
conversations.
I think you're right that Queen are so varied that they appeal to so many people,
Yeah.
the masses, you know. So
And what's lovely now for us, I know you'll have experienced the same, Shane, that you can go to a venue and in your front row you've got a 7-year-old and a 70-year-old, and
that's true.
And when we've done festivals, it's like there was one I can't remember where the hell it was. We did this festival this year, and literally the first 2 rows were the most diverse front 2 rows of a festival crowd I've ever seen, and there was like teenagers with their girlfriends on their shoulders, and every age, race, colour, it was just perfect, honestly. And that for me was like, wow, this is you sometimes you have to remind yourself how special the music is at making everyone part of the same audience, you know.
Yeah.
There's no divisions.
Like yourself, meeting people. It's great after the show to have a chat with people saying thanks for coming and all that.
Yeah.
But I do remember listening to some girl's story. I think she was only 13, 14, and how she loved Queen and all that. And it kind of got to me. I was after the show, you're quite, I just felt kind of, wow, this is very nice to hear. But at the same time, wow, I'm blown away by the fact you're only like, you weren't alive when Queen were at their popularity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're probably born after like 10 years after Freddie died, and the show, and you're wanting to play, listen to Queen. So, then at the other right, we had people who were in their 90s. Well, actually, one person was 100 years old at the third show we ever did. Yeah, a veteran. Yeah,
it's incredible, isn't it? But and I think it comes down to, what we do, you and I, and all the others who interpret Queen's music or whatever. Is we have a responsibility to be a part of that legacy and to bring it to smaller communities that can't do the big thing and go and see, the O2 and all those big shows or whatever. And it is a responsibility, Do
you find that when you go to the smaller towns, you seem to get a much more appreciative response to your being there?
I think so, yeah. I think because it's never taken for granted, and I think, we do have people say, I can't believe, we've got a band like you guys in our local, but it is that's why it's never about the size of the venue or how grand it is. It's all about the audience.
Yeah,
everything. The entire reason for doing what we do is for the audience, and that's it's something that I never appreciated when I started, and then as the more you kind of get to understand the dynamic of what the audience does for you as a performer and vice versa, that's when it really starts to get interesting, because and I see this, going back to the thing about my nervousness on stage and that whole kind of thing. One of the things that really helped was the fact that I understood Freddie as being very uncomfortable off stage, and that he had, I shared a lot of things with him. I think that I thought, I understand that. I understand how you'd find that, and then obviously the stage thing. It's a different ballgame because it's your arena. Yeah, and Freddie would dress in his stage gear, and he controls the crowd because it's his arena. But what's really interesting is that it's such a two-way thing. It's a show for us is a conversation between us and the audience. Yes, and it's our enjoyment of the show as performers is how much we get back. So you give everything. The first few numbers, bang, 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 you're hitting them hard, and then you feel that
Like a
it's
feedback loop.
palpable. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and then that's it. And then you're like, okay, we're really on a journey now. We're really,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is kind of almost like a religious experience if you're that way inclined.
Yeah.
It's mass, not mass hysteria, but it is that kind of.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be in that one singularity.
I heard Brian May explain it as a very nice thing. It's like he said, it's like everyone is at a football match, but everyone is on the same side.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've never heard that one. That's really cool.
It's nice. So regarding Queen itself and you growing up with Queen, obviously, you probably have all the albums at this stage. 2 or 3 albums do you think would be your go-to?
The Kind of Magic's always got a special place in my heart, as has the Flash album, because of what they mean to me in terms of discovery. But I think it's probably on a day-to-day basis it changes. But
yeah, it does. That's the nice thing about Queen. It does that. Yeah.
Every day is a different emphasis. Sheer Heart Attack, I love. I adore Sheer Heart Attack. I think it was the coming together of musically of a lot of their experimentation and their understanding of how their songs work commercially.
Yes.
And that not just because of Killer Queen, but I think there was a lot on that album that was like, they've understood now where their music sits.
Yeah.
And from there on, it was a different kind of ballgame. As much as I love Queen 2, and Queen 2 is a masterpiece. But Sheer Heart Attack for me, I think is...
That's my no-skip album. I don't skip anything on it.
Yes, yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too. It feels wrong to listen to something out of sequence.
Exactly, yeah.
News of the World I'm very, very fond of.
Yes.
And a lot of that's to do with Freddie's voice. There's a different timbre in his voice in that album. And maybe it's
I think you can hear it on We Are the Champions. If you listen to the isolated vocals for We Are the Champions, as he's building into the chorus, you can hear all the layers of the voice building as he's working through those 4 chord changes before he reached I think it's a C7 into the F.
Yeah.
Building, and then into
It's just gloriously rich, isn't it?
Yeah,
and the one song in particular that really does that for me is Spread Your Wings. His voice on Spread Your Wings is absolutely sublime. And when you hear the isolated vocal for that, it's all this gravel and all these kind of strange artifacts that are inherent in his physiology. But it's, that song, when first time I heard the song, I loved the song, but then I listened to it isolated. And there's just something magical and spicy about his voice on that album. And then I guess Day at the Races I love as well because of the madness of diversity of songs. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah,
just full of palate cleansers. Like if you don't like rock, there's something else on it that you like.
Yeah.
And what was interesting to me when I got Day at the Races was suddenly hearing an English band singing in Japanese.
Yeah.
And then this was 93. I got Day at the Races, or 94 it might have been. And I was in college at the time. And of course, the first thing I was doing was I was ditching my studies and trying to find a Japanese book to try and learn Japanese. So, so they're influencing my
your outside interests.
Yeah. So, so look, it's very varied, from the point of view of their themes in their songs.
And I think again, there's so many things. I mean, look, we're dyed-in-the-wool Queen fans, so we see things differently. But we look at kind of, where the music sits in the career span of Queen, and how different things were. You could hear different influences throughout that sort of process, and then individually, and I'm sure anyone who plays in a Queen tribute will be listening for their own, Brian's parts if you're a Brian May, or John's parts and how that's developing, and it's just it never. It's the gift that keeps giving. You never stop.
Yeah.
There's always, and speaking to guys like yourself, and other musicians and other fans.
Yeah.
There's always something you can learn that you didn't consider or didn't
True.
appreciate.
Yes, yes. And also there's bits that you kind of think, well, I've learned that song. I know that song really well. And there was one song recently that I was playing. I think it was played a game. And the way I played it was I went 1, 2, chord change. It's actually 1 and chord change. But when you hear it, it doesn't sound out of place.
No.
But our bassist came over to me and said, "Do you know you're actually playing 1 chord change? It should be 1, 2 chord change." But it sounds, and I was looking, I was kind of thinking, it does sound okay. But when you're in the band, when everyone else is going, like that, and it's so subtle. It's so subtle and so fast. And you got to relearn something you've already learned for years. And it's
committed to,
even We Are the Champions, going into the going into the chorus. For years, I played 3 B flats in a row, but actually, he changes the chord 3 times to transpose, because you're actually changing key.
Yeah.
You're changing key from E flat into F, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Freddie does some amazing things when he's writing songs.
Yeah. I think it is that growing appreciation. It's like it's an organic thing. Well, I mean, what's your favourite thing to play? Like Queen, what's just for you, not as a band, but what's the thing that you sit down and go?
The piano, the first thing I'm going to play is Doing Something Now.
Is it?
It is, because
that's cool.
The pattern is not simply playing chords. There's actually, if you listen to it, the piano is probably it's not exactly in time with the vocals. It's like the way it's played, it's syncopated. As far as I'm aware, that's what it's doing. It's syncopating the rhythm against what the vocals are doing. And when you're learning that song, if you don't play the rhythm, it doesn't sound like Doing Something Now. So you could play your F and your A minor and all those things, but if you don't have that exact rhythm between your hands and the way it's been played, so that's that. We'll play the game. I love playing Play the Game because it's quite varied and it's nice song to play. Save Me was one of the first songs I ever played on
beautiful.
Piano.
Yeah.
And I always play the Brian intro from Montreal. That lovely.
Yes. Yeah. That's great. That's really cool.
Love It My Life. I mean, there's so much there. The funny thing is, playing the Bohemian Rhapsody on stage is kind of like, oh yeah, this is just Bohemian Rhapsody, because I think you've got to concentrate so much you can't really enjoy. Look at me, I'm playing Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like you've got to be really careful. So I think it's more of like Bohemian Rhapsody is a job.
Yeah.
Done, but other songs you can enjoy.
Got to get this right.
Yeah.
And what's one song that you would love to play live that you haven't played live?
Ooh, tons.
Yeah.
I'd like to do the Wembley version of A Kind of Magic. Just the layered piano and keys,
that's cool.
Guitar section, all that stuff. See, we also have a Freddie show. It's a 3-man Freddie show, which has other songs as well. And in that, we've done other songs, so we've done These Are the Days of Our Lives, which is a lovely song. Again. Beautiful. So there's plenty of other scope there, but because I do all the piano tutorials, like any song I want to play, I can always do one, so
you've got an outlet for it.
And that's kind of where I got discovered, because the guy in the States was putting the band back together again, and I had all the sheet music on the website. So now it's on shanesqueensite.com, but back then it was on my own personal site as a subdomain. And they had found all my music, and they're going off and they're playing away with the music. And when he was putting the band back together again, I got a Facebook Messenger call.
Yeah,
like yourself, it was during lockdown, and I got kind of going, this can't be real. Like, this is coming from the States, So I kind of went, yeah, okay,
some sort of scam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it turned out it wasn't a scam. So we did Under Pressure as a lockdown video with the 4 screens, that thing.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then it went one thing led to another, and before I knew it, I was in Utah in 2022 doing a show in front of 940 people. So it's like,
must be a pinch me moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But before that, in December before that, a local Irish band, one of their guys got COVID, and I got a phone call on Thursday saying, we're playing on Saturday, can you help us out? So I had like
wow,
less than 48 hours to learn their set, and then I did 2 shows with them. So You know, I think, and the
Amazing.
funny thing was, before I did that, I had a list of songs. Oh, I got to work on that, and I got to work on that. And I came back after that show and just tore it up. And went, I know all the songs. Stop being perfectionist and just
Yeah, yeah,
do
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
songs. Yeah, yeah,
We've done this. I know what it is. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's crazy, isn't it?
yeah.
I do think that did an interview ages ago a music educator. He used to be my guitar teacher, a guy called Vic Highland, and massive inspiration to me when I was
Yeah.
growing up, because music teachers back then were old people who
Mm,
told you about Bach,
yeah.
and this guy had like a 80s mullet and a rock guitar, and it was like when you go to public school, there's no one like that
No.
on the teaching
Yeah.
staff. And he had a massive influence on my appreciation for music, and I did an interview with him not all that long ago, and he said, I think you always end up where you're supposed to end up. He said, I think that it's it's almost like a genetic thing, or I don't know. I'm not particularly spiritual, but that I think what you're supposed to be doing with your life, you always kind of end up doing that.
Yeah.
And whether that takes you a year or 10 years or
Yeah.
whatever,
True.
I think you're naturally wired a certain way, and I think clearly for yourself that was.
It's funny how it happened because, like, I mean, people have been telling me for years, "Oh, you should be doing more music," but for me, there was no outlet. I couldn't find anyone who
Yes.
wanted to form a band, or they couldn't find anyone. And since then, it's funny. Like before joining the band, I had nothing really to do.
Mm.
As regards music locally. And since then, I've had kind of friends of mine saying, "Oh, I have a band. We have no keyboard player, but maybe you could put on some keys, you know." So, just a shout out to
Crazy,
Ray
isn't it?
Mullins. Ray is a friend of mine, and his band Sonic Saints are in the middle of writing some songs, and they've asked
Mm.
me to put some keys on there. And they're an excellent local band. Obviously, the local bands are great, but these guys are something special. I saw them recently, and they're
Wow.
excellent in what they do. And like they're doing the original stuff, which is great. You don't normally
Yeah.
get a lot of bands doing that. So I just think the music network is very interesting, and I saw it in the States as well. I'm not sure what it's like in the UK, but like I was listening to the guys talking as we were touring around, and they were saying, "Oh, how's Johnny, what's his name playing? Well, no, who's he playing with now? Oh, he's in California. He's playing with this." They all seem to know each other, and the music network seems to know exactly who's
I
playing
know.
where and when they're playing and what band they're with now or where they were previously. And I just thought this whole spider's web of musicians and how everyone knew where everyone was in a country so vast. I was kind of going, wow,
Well,
like
I think you look at that kind of the general concept of what is it, the 6 or 7 degrees of separation or whatever
true.
whatever that is. I think with musicians it's much smaller.
Here's
I
here's the
think
funny
it's
one.
it's 3 degrees maybe.
Here's the kicker, okay? My
Yeah,
cousin is
go
a
on.
sound engineer. He works in Ventura, in California. He did
Yeah.
definitely sound for years on their tours, okay? And on the last trip I did in September, we were in Utah and we were driving back, and I just got asked to drive the car, and I was driving back anyway with the guys. They were having a conversation in the back, and they're talking about Rita Ford. I'm not sure if you know the singer Rita Ford.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
My cousin is doing sound for Rita Ford, and these guys are in the back not knowing that the person that they're talking about, Rita Ford, is my cousin was doing sound for. I was kind of going, that's weird. Like that is
That's
so.
it's uncanny, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we talked about Devin Townsend.
yeah.
We did a Live Age show on was it Ambassador Cruise Line? It was like through the English Channel to kind of Holland, and there was loads of bands on to do a bit of a kind of a Live Aid anniversary
Yeah,
tribute
yeah.
last year, and the one of the other bands that was on with us was the Rick Parfitt Jr. band,
Okay, yeah,
and they're Rick Parfitt Jr. is a lovely fella, great show, really lively, bouncy kind of audience favourites, all covers and stuff like
yeah.
that. His drummer, a guy called Darby Todd, who has been the drummer on Devin Townsend's last 3 albums, I think.
Okay, wow.
and it just blows my mind. You know, you're sat in the same room as someone who works really closely with one of the guys who's kind of like a hero. You know, and it's like, you pinch yourself all the time doing what we do because it's a joy and an honour to do what we do, but we get to meet some of the coolest, most funny people. You know, and this will blow your mind, Shane. This because this genuinely blew my mind. This weekend, on Saturday we're in Huntingdon at the Commemoration Hall Little Theatre, and we'd got there a little bit early, like an hour early or whatever, and went and got some food. Walking through the town, there's this little music shop. So me and Brian and Roger, we said, we'll go and have a little mooch in there. And had some lovely guitars, lovely PRS guitars and everything. We walked in this shop and typical, it's almost like a cliched music staff of like, what do you want kind of thing. So we'll just have a wander around, have a little look around. And about a minute later, this guy comes in and he's looking at me and he's like, "You're that Queen band, aren't you?" And I said, Yeah.
Brilliant.
And he said, "I saw you." He said, "I've seen you live." I said, "Where did you see us?" He said, "I saw you in Dubai for New Year's Eve."
Wow.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And literally, New Year's Eve, we did New Year's Eve in the Sheraton Hotel in Dubai. 800 people outside. Nice. It was awesome, really cool.
Brilliant.
But this guy doesn't even come from Huntingdon and just happened to be in Huntingdon at the same time and wanted in. He was like, "Oh, that's Brian there, and that's your drummer, and that's and it's like it utterly blew my mind. And you start to realise how the world is actually a lot smaller than you think it is.
Yeah.
When you're young, you've got no concept of the scale of it all.
Either that, or you're now famous.
No, not at all. No, but it's.
Well, I mean, you are being chauffeured around the country, so I mean,
by my bass player, he's going to love that. I was a chauffeur.
Oh man! You mentioned Live Aid there. You mentioned Live Aid. Were you at home watching Live Aid?
No, I kind of missed it. Really, I don't know how. I think It's a Hard Life was 85. I don't know whether that was after Live Aid or before, but I hadn't really kind of made that connection, and I don't know what I was doing. My parents were quite sort of strict, quite conservative, I guess, and they'd have never let me go to a live concert. And,
of course, no.
And even watching something like that on telly was probably not on the cards. So I kind of just missed it. Really, I was aware of it,
of course,
but never really
tuned into it or whatever.
No, but then when A Kind of Magic, the Wembley thing was televised, I recorded it on VHS.
That's what I got. My uncle gave me a VHS copy. It was shown on the Tube. The Tube on Channel 4, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And he gave me a copy of that. And I had, it's funny, I got that in 88, not knowing who Queen were, maybe 89, I can't remember. But I do remember being impressed by the performance and by the songs. Had no knowledge of who they were at the time. And then suddenly, but 2 or 3 years later, getting Queen 2, it all made sense.
All the dots joined up. Yeah.
It was like Domino Rally. It just kept going. Everything fell into place, but it's interesting how that happened,
And that concert, again, in the same way that I wore out the tape of Kind of Magic, that I watched that probably every day. I watched Wembley every day. Yeah. And it was so masterful, the construction of the dynamic of how certain songs led into other.
I love that.
And that's again part of their skill is not just the songs; it's actually putting them together in a way that creates an arc, and where there's a little bit of breathing space here, and then we ramp it up again, and
like the transition between one vision, that Tie Your Mother Down, where you're finishing on a D and then going straight into the E flat, and you're your way up through all the chords, and then very fast, you're rapidly moving towards that D, and then you're starting the song. So I mean, it's this transition. I love their transitions.
Yeah, it's masterful, absolutely masterful.
Death on Two Legs. Look at Live Aid, Live Killers. Death on Two Legs. They played in B minor first, and then they transitioned into C minor, and then go into Killer Queen.
Yeah, which is awesome. I've always loved that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
version. But yeah, I think that's, and this is where it gets really interesting. We talk about life imitating art. Is that the blueprint of what Queen have done in terms of their studio work and their live work and their marketing of their brand, and keeping that legacy alive, and the way they run their business, all of these things are so well defined that as a tribute band, that's we just follow the Queen blueprint.
Yeah.
It's you know,
Really helpful.
even it really is. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that it's so well done that it's, you know, even when we do things our own way and we say, well, okay, well, I want to medley this song into this song, or and we do. We come up with some kind of medleys that we think Queen would have probably played around with, sort of
Yeah.
things that haven't been done that feel natural to do it in the Queen-like way. But all of it, even the way we run our business, it's relentless and it's unforgiving,
Yeah.
and it's tenacious, and yeah, because that's how Queen did it. That's
Yeah.
how they are the success,
Yeah.
and have remained the success that they've been. You know,
I've just actually
So-
noticed, like, I forgot to say it there. Right there is the Wembley album cover.
Yep. Yeah.
And the reason why I put it in, like, that's our two-man show there, and that's the main band over there. But the reason why I put it in the middle, because that started everything. It was the first concert
nice.
that I actually watched and appreciated and tried
Yeah.
to understand what was going on, even before I had discovered Queen. You know, so
Yeah.
that was almost like a little teaser. So when I got Queen 2, everything then was allowed to percolate from that point
Yeah.
on, you know.
It's so rich, isn't it?
is.
That kind of
Tapestry.
yeah. And actually, that's a great. I always remember listening to Queen 2, and it obviously it has more of a, maybe a little bit more of a proggy feel to it, I guess. But it always felt like there was a story underneath it all, just because of some of the language that was being used in the songwriting.
Of course. I mean, I remember looking up all the words in Fairfeather Masterstruck. What exactly is apothecary? You know, what exactly is tatterdemalion?
Tatterdemalion and a junketer.
You know, so I mean, if nothing else, you've got new words to be able to use, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think all my friends at school thought I was a ponce because I started using fancy words.
I must ask the
Eldritch.
pedagogue about that in school, you know? It's like...
It's funny because that was the one thing at the... So I don't know whether you know, we were really fortunate. We were asked to play at Sotheby's for the staff launch of the exhibition. So probably about 4 weeks before it opened, we were yay. Well, I'll tell you what, I can show you. We were at the very forefront of that thing, and we were spreading the word because we had early access to the exhibition, and we had some of their experts took us around because of what we'd done for their staff or whatever, and we got to chat with all these people and everything that had got hands on with discovering all these things, and you know, the I can't think what the lady's name was, the woman who dealt with all the ephemera, so all the paperwork, and saying that literally they'd find a sheet of paper tucked in a book, and in a piano stool there was loads of loose leaf bits of paper that, and that's how they discovered it. And then they had to kind of piece together the provenance of, you know, sometimes it was what the notepad it was written on would give them an idea of the age of when that was, and then it's a case of trying to trace back. So it was really, the work Sotheby's did was almost archaeological in nature. And so, as a band, we were spreading the word like crazy, and we got all the early access to everything. So we were pumping it out there, and at the height, I think we had 1 million views on our Facebook page.
Wow!
Because we were saying, look, for God's sake, wherever you are in the world, this is the last time that all of this will be together in one place. Come and see it, please. Come and see it. Wow. And as a thank you. I never won. I went to all the auctions. I was there for every single one.
Okay.
And which was awesome, just being in the room
Yeah.
and seeing the joy and the love and all what it actually meant to people. And I think there was a lot of kind of criticism of obviously what happened, but I was sat next to the guy who won the kind of flowery shirt that Freddie wore in "Somebody to Love" in that video. That kind of black shirt with like green and pink.
Short sleeve shirt.
That's right, yeah, short sleeve, yeah. And he was in tears. He won it, and he was absolutely in floods. He was like, "It means so much to me."
Yeah.
I'm getting choked now. Thinking about it. It was really quite. Yeah, it was quite a thing.
Somebody said to me, they said to me, you should have put a bid on the piano, knowing that there's no way you're going to get it, but just to know you put a bid on.
I did.
Did you?
I put bids on stuff that I knew.
Okay, yeah.
And screenshotted it. But the one I really wanted was there was a picture of Fairy Fella's Masterstroke that Freddie had clipped out of a magazine and put in a little gold frame.
Okay.
And that song, I always loved the song.
Me too.
And I love the fact that it wasn't one of the posh things, it wasn't one of the extravagant things, it was something that he liked enough to have got a magazine and clip, like we all do when we're teenagers, you know, you clip out the lyrics to your favourite song in smash hits or whatever it was at the time. So
it's personal to him that he actually did it himself, and he, you know, instead of going off and saying, you know what, I get a print of that, I have enough money, I can get a print and just frame that instead.
Early days, just clipping it out, and there was, I think, something about the painting on the back of the other side of the picture itself, or whatever. Nice. And so I really wanted, but I was so far outclassed. I mean, I had no idea it was going to go the way it was. So I didn't win anything, but Sotheby's very kindly gifted me. I'll show you him in the corner. Actually, I'm just going to turn you around.
Oh wow!
It's one of the mannequins.
Yes.
From the exhibition.
Wow.
So I've got Freddie sat in the corner of my room.
Brilliant. Nice.
He stands guard in case we ever get robbed. He's not very threatening, but yeah.
Nice.
He's my kind of pride and joy, really, because I don't know what, I think there were two that left Sotheby's, two of the mannequins, but yeah, it's just great.
It was actually really interesting to walk around and see everything that
wasn't it
seen over all the years, you know, the videos and everything, you know. So
did you enjoy it?
Loved it. I was really annoyed when they grabbed me away from the piano when I was playing the piano, and that didn't happen. No, security on me, and it was very tempting. You know, I mean, once in a while, you can always ask for forgiveness later. You know, a little
trill in the corner.
Yeah, no, I'd be doing for the full Bohemian Rhapsody. Just give it a go.
You do the whole thing.
Yeah, you know.
Amazing.
Ask for forgiveness later and see what happens, you know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as long as you've done the whole tour first and then do it at the end and get thrown out, it's fine. Yeah.
So
amazing.
But I really appreciate you coming on today to have a chat with us.
It's been a pleasure, honestly.
We will definitely catch up later on in the year. You can let us know how you're getting on with everything, and maybe when you have information on your secret project.
Yes,
which you cannot mention. No,
there's two. One of them is proper groundbreaking stuff that is going to be. I think it'll be quite diversive in terms of how it's received. But I've been very fortunate to be in the right place at the right time and do some work that has ended up with me being in the same room as Roger. I can't say any more, but watch this space. Watch this space.
Just watch.
Really cool.
People who want to watch the space, where should they go?
They should come to www.supersonicqueen.com, which is our website, or find us on Facebook, which is just Supersonic Queen, or Friends of Supersonic Queen if you're a friend.
Brilliant.
That's where we're at.
Lovely. So all the information should now be down there. So
awesome.
There. Excellent.
And can I just say thanks for your amazing website, man.
Oh, you're very welcome. I mean,
it's so cool.
24th or 5th year now at this stage. Sorry.
That's amazing.
Around that, yeah. So it's had many variations from being on freely hosted crappy servers in the 99 era. It went on to a .org, then it went to a .com, then it went to a .ie. Now it's on its own personal domain.
It's on its own
domain. Its own, you know, shanesqueenstat.com is now
No, but honestly, that takes so much work and everything, and
Yeah.
for Queen fans, it's really appreciated for what
Well,
you
look,
do.
you
So
know what?
thank you.
It's as you said earlier on. It's a community, and it's lovely because I used to have recordings, and when I moved the domain, I lost some of the recordings. They were old and they weren't very good
Yeah.
quality. But I recorded "Love of My Life" in 2003 or four on that piano in the corner. It's a
Oh,
Kawai.
cool.
The Kawai is like 20 odd years old. It's still amazing as a stage piano.
Yeah.
But I recorded "Love of My Life," put it on the server. People could download and have a listen. And I remember one day I got an email from a girl from Canada, and she was doing her ice skating final exam, and she wanted to use "My Love of My Life"
Oh,
for.
wow.
So it was amazing to think that somebody in Canada was doing their final ice skating lesson with "Love of My Life" that I had recorded, and I'm like 5,000 miles away from that person.
Yeah.
It's
Again.
really, and that's the community.
Yeah.
That's like I do the piano tutorials online so people can learn the songs. And what's great is people come back and say, "Thanks very much. I really love that one. Can you do this one now?" So I got a request there last
Yeah.
week for "My Melancholy Blues." Would you mind doing that? So
Awesome.
so it is a community, and I always only wanted that. And I get all these emails
Yeah.
from these guys. "Hi, I can increase your YouTube following." I don't
Oh,
want
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I want community. Don't want more
Yeah.
followers. I want a good following.
Yeah.
People who are out there. And we've
Same as
got
us.
some,
That's
yeah,
exactly how we see it. It's sharing that love of what you love,
yeah,
and that's not about numbers. That's about people. That's
exactly,
yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
absolutely right. No, well done, honestly.
Thank you very much. So before we leave,
Yes.
I always end on this extremely interesting, it's like an icebreaker. It's the old Bernard Pivot and James Lipton
Mm.
questionnaire that they used to use at the end of the Actor Studio. So, what's your favorite word?
I think tenacious. I think I've
Nice.
used that today as
That's
once
very,
already, but
yes, you did. Yeah, very nice indeed.
tenacious.
Yeah. And your
I
least
think
favorite word?
there's,
Oh, sorry, go on. Yeah.
but yeah, I think there's something about that's like it's that grit and that fight and that yeah, I don't know.
And I think you
Yeah,
have to
I
be
like that. I
tenacious
like
to make your life work in the way you want to make it work because
yeah,
things are
yeah,
not
definitely.
never easy. So,
No, no, definitely.
yeah. And your least
Yeah,
favorite
that's my
word?
favourite. Least favourite word. Oh God. I honestly I can't think of
Yeah,
the least favourite,
that's
but it's
grand.
probably some sort of shortening of a nice word or some
Yeah.
colloquialism that's yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. The shortening of words people are doing now, they're like, what did I hear recently? And I thought it was just say the word. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like shortening of words. I think if you're too
No, I
lazy
think
to say the word, there's something wrong with you. Yeah. So
words are great. You know,
yeah.
I love words. I love the English language and stuff, and I think when you find those kind of cheapening of the language by
Hmm.
chopping it around into bits, it's like oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
But that's probably just showing my age.
So what turns you on?
What turns me on?
What makes you get up in the morning?
Passion,
Yeah.
and enthusiasm, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And of course, you can't do what you're doing without passion and enthusiasm.
Without
So,
no,
yeah.
absolutely right.
What turns you?
Music,
Music.
music is yeah,
Music turns you on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and my wife.
That's good. That's always good. Of course. A good.
Brownie points.
Yeah. Excellent. And what turns you off?
Um, Fake people,
Hmm.
people who are disingenuous.
Yeah.
That's not me at all. I just can't be in the same room with people who are not themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think being real is something that's true to yourself.
yeah, yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
Two, nature. I
Yeah.
love just quiet
Yeah.
wind in trees, birds singing. There's something that just
Yeah.
yeah. And the Lydian mode.
Nice. Okay. Right. I'm
This
terrible. I have to admit I'm terrible on my modes and all that. So I can never remember which one is which.
it's
So yeah.
Lydian is major with a sharpened fourth. You think of Leonard Bernstein's Maria. Maria. It's
Okay.
that, there's something that ever since I've been a child,
Okay.
I can identify Lydian, and it makes the hairs stand up on my
Nice.
arms. It's like So yeah, that's my.
So when we finish this call, that machine is being turned on. I'm going to start messing around with Lydian mode.
Lydian, man. Honestly, yeah, all the way, all the way.
I always have been very interested in modes and all that. So it's just a case of I can never store the versions in my head as to which one's which. So yeah, I must take a look at that.
Yeah,
what sound or noise do you hate?
Tinnitus.
Do you suffer from it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because all the rest of the band are on in-ear monitors.
Okay.
And I can't do that at all. I just can't find the connection with the audience in the same way.
Yeah.
So I'm on wedges, and I like them really loud.
Okay.
And so I spend a lot of time in that quiet when I go and sit in nature.
Yeah.
It's tempered by that sort of background ringing in my ears.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I use in-ears myself, and in the past 2 gigs, the battery thing fell off, so I had to sellotape over that with some stage gaffer tape. Then, when I got to Vegas the last time, I realized that the little battery connector had broken away. So I had to do a job. I had to shave away the plastic and try and get it in behind it just to make it. I got the gig out of it, but when I came back, I ordered the power pack just so I can get the power and just get it working, because
can't do without them.
Yeah. I know I use monitors all the time, but I just feel it's nice to have control over what you can hear as well. Yeah. So, what's your favorite curse word?
Are we safe? Is this a safe space?
If it's bad, I'll block it out.
It's
okay.
It really. I've heard Freddie use it live, and it just does everything. It's the do-it-all swear word.
So it's a multifaceted version of what you want to say. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I just think it's, and we say it a lot in the band off stage.
Yeah.
When we're ribbing each other, it can be nice, but it can be
how you say it.
Utterly vicious as well.
It can be, yeah.
Sorry.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would like to have done carpentry.
Right. Okay. Very interesting. Yeah.
I just I think there's something honest about working with just wood, just raw materials and
talent.
Stuff.
Yeah.
There's like a purity in kind of. And I'd love to have been able to make. I'm shit at DIY, but I'd love to have been able to make some things with wood.
When you start off with a square block of wood and you see what someone can do with that,
it's
amazing just to see what people can actually achieve with.
Yeah, it's incredibly, incredible talent.
Yeah. What profession would you not have liked to do, by the way?
Would I not have liked to do? I've done a lot. I've done a lot of things. I've never really gone away from anything and thought, "Oh, never again."
Yeah,
because I've always learned something from each of the things.
That's a very good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you take that away, that's great. That's nice.
Yeah, I think it's putting things in your toolbox, your virtual toolbox, whatever.
Yeah.
But I did work in a food factory once where I had to untin tinned tomatoes.
Right.
And I don't like tomatoes, and I was nearly violently ill. So that probably working with tomatoes would be.
Okay, so that relates back to your favorite curse word as well. Okay, fair enough.
Yes,
yeah. So we know what tomatoes are called. Good. Yeah. So number 10, if you're stranded on a desert island, which Queen album would you take with you?
Oh, that's like asking what your favourite child is. It's just not
unfortunately,
done, is it?
Just take one of your children with you,
Day at the Races.
Okay, nice choice.
Today,
very nice. It's probably different form. That's the thing. That's the nice thing about Queen. Yeah. And the final question, Philip, is: if heaven exists, what would you like God or your God to say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I think. Well, I wasn't expecting you.
Nice.
I think that's. Yeah. We often say in the band that we, because we just rib mercilessly. I mean, it's a raucous backstage, and one of the things that is said a lot is, "Oh, you're going straight to hell." You're going straight to hell.
That's the type of humor I like. Yeah.
And so I think, that would be a. Jesus, I didn't expect to see you here. There you go.
Brilliant. Well, Philip, thank you very much for joining us today.
No, thank you, Shane.
Queen Conversations, and it's been really interesting talking to you about everything from your own performances to your own growing up with Queen and with the theatrical music that you had at the early stage of your life. And I wish you all the best for your upcoming gigs. What's your next gig? So what's coming up soon?
I am in this weekend. I am in Landrindod Wells on Saturday.
All right.
We're playing the Albert Hall.
Yes.
Not the Albert Hall, but
I know of it. Yes.
Yeah, the Albert Hall, Landrindod Wells, and Mount Sorrel on Friday.
Right.
Which is Leicester.
And can I ask you before we go, what has been your favourite venue across the UK? Or is that something you don't want to say because you don't want to insult anybody else who's booked?
I don't want to insult any other venues. No, but actually, you say that it's never actually the venue; it's actually the audience.
Okay, good.
So I always my favourite, the grandest thing we did was we played. Is it Falls Park in Ireland?
In Belfast.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Which was like 15,000 people, which
Brilliant.
was awesome. Just a mind-blowing amount of so that was a cool thing from a stage perspective. But my favourite audience was at Cumbernauld in Scotland, in I think it's the Cumbernauld Theatre, not this year but the year before. They were just with me every single step of the way.
Wow.
And it just felt electric.
Brilliant.
Yeah, some of those audiences they teach you so much. And that was it was just a really, only a small audience, like 300 or so people or whatever, but wow, what a crowd.
Excellent.
Really good. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I wish you all the best for your upcoming gigs.
Thank you, Shane.
Supersonic Queen, all the guys in the band. And thank you for sharing your story with us.
No, it's my pleasure, and thanks for having me, man.
You're very welcome. Always good to have anybody on who loves Queen. That's what this podcast is all about. Just
That's
Queen
what we're
fans,
here for.
Queen music. Hey, what's your life been? How did Queen come into the story of your life, and how have that music
has it enriched it?
Has it enriched it? Of course, that's exactly it. So thank you very much, and
bless you. Thank you ever so much, man.
And we'll catch up with you very soon.
I will do. Yeah, thanks so much.
All right.
Take care.
Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks, Philip.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So thank you very much for tuning in to the Queen Fan Podcast here on Shane's Queen site, Killer Queen Conversations. We hope to see you again very soon. And we would like to thank our guest this week for joining us. Join us again next week for more great conversations about Queen, their music, and what it means to be a Queen fan. See you again very soon. My name is Shane MacDonald, and I hope you have a great day.